I do want to talk about this next big story, which is another big Ukrainian propaganda story that we've been watching, which is the quote unquote bombing in Crimea we've been hearing about. You might have been hearing about this mysterious explosion, the Russian-held area of Crimea. Let's go ahead and play some of this video. This is in an airfield, a series of explosions in the territory of the Sakai military airfield near in western Crimea. The defense ministry reported that there had been a detonation of aviation ammunition. Okay, so that's what it is, a very large detonation of aviation ammunition. As the result of the incident, one person was killed, another 13 were injured. Now, I want to be very clear. I spoke to a source this afternoon that told me there was no attack. This was not an attack. It was simply poor safety on the part of the Russians at the munitions depot. And so poor security, poor safety. And that's exactly what happened. So no Ukraine or NATO attack, according to my sources on this munitions depot. But the West, of course, is painting this as a sign that Ukraine is fighting back, and that this is a sign that Ukraine is about to go on the offensive in Crimea. And Vladimir Zelensky, in an interview, like clockwork, Zelensky comes out in this video message on a Facebook page where he talks about the Russian war against Ukraine, against the whole of the free Europe, began with Crimea, and it should end with Crimea, with its liberation. So Crimea
is all of a sudden on the table, right? When we thought that was not even, we thought it was only the Donbass and the Donetsk region, but now it seems like he's put that on the table, and it seems like a dream.
But
like
I mean, he said this before. This isn't like the first time, of course, and so.
But now he's signaling it as a chip under which he will bargain with, right? Where it was not a bargaining chip for him before at all.
Yeah. I mean, so, and then I guess, he was saying before that this, we're not going anywhere until we get back the territorial integrity of Ukraine, and that includes Crimea, to which a lot of people are saying, really? That seems surprising. Even Germans, I'm going to pull up a German newspaper here. I'll try to translate my best German. My multiple years of German only served me so well. But this is Der Tagesspiegel. Schulz, Macron, Draghi are looking for a way out. That's what it says. That's what it says in German. They're looking for a way out, basically, of this war in Ukraine. And further in the article, it says, has the man lost his sense of reality, referring to Zelensky? The Ukrainian army is in retreat in Donbass, but President Volodymyr Zelensky issues the slogan shortly before Mario Draghi, Emmanuel Macron, and Olaf Scholz visited Kiev. Of course, we will also want to liberate Crimea, Zelensky said. Right? Dream of conquest. So he just sort of throws that on the table. Kim Iverson is joining us. He just throws, we're glad for all of your help, glad for all of your money and all of your weapons. And oh, by the way, we want to take back Crimea. Does anybody want dessert?
Yeah, exactly. So send us more weapons. That's what he would need in order to even go about that task. And yeah, it is really, it's kind of mind-boggling that he would think that Ukraine would be able to get back the land that they've lost during this war, and then go back and try to get all of the land that was already lost in 2014, when largely the populations in those areas don't want to be with Ukraine. They're fine. They're happy where they are. So it is mind-boggling, but I think it's really just signaling for, we need more weapons. We're going to need more from you. And right now we're on like a monthly auto subscription service, right? With Ukraine, just keep sending them weapons every single month, like clockwork. It's like rent's due. Oh, yeah. Got to give the Ukrainians a bunch of weapons. Meanwhile, we've got all these problems here domestically. But I actually, I do still question what's happened in Crimea, because I think that both sides have a reason to lie about it. So for me, it's really unclear what actually happened. Was there an attack, or was it just, just poor safety? Mm-hmm. I think that obviously the Ukrainians have a reason to claim it, because they want to say, look at how strong we are and look what we're doing. So send us more weapons so we can do more.
Right.
But the Russians also have a reason to deny it, because they should have weapons that are supposed to halt this kind of thing. They should have, I'm missing all my war terms at the moment, all of the different weaponry, but
shields, whatever.
Yeah, anti-missiles, right, exactly. That should be blowing these things out of the sky before they even hit. So that's embarrassing for Russia if missiles were able to get through, or somehow attacks or of whatever kind it are, were able to get through, that's embarrassing to Russia as well. So there is a reason for them even
Right.
to lie about it. So in this kind of thing, we just don't know. We just have to.
That's a great point. I mean, it would be, and it really would be embarrassing, because Crimea, this is not a new territory that Russia has been holding. They've been holding it for years now, and the fortifications in Crimea are strong. So if there was some sort of a Western GPS located guided attack by Western intelligence, which we know is the case, right? They're leading these attacks throughout the Donbass and other targets. It would not be unreasonable at all for Western intelligence to say, hey, here's a huge munitions depot. We want you to attack with one of these HIMARS that we've sent you. Here's an opportunity to use these things. We're guiding it for you. You have them now. We will launch it. But according to the sources I spoke to today, saying, no, it was a safety issue as it relates to the munitions. But again, who knows exactly, right? I mean, it may very well have been a missile attack, and this could be the catalyst. But I guess the proof will be in the pudding, right? Because we keep hearing about this big offensive that's about to happen, right? This big Ukrainian offensive is about to happen. It's never happened, but it's about to happen. So I guess once that does happen, that would be the proof then, right?
Yes, but it's also interesting, this faction of leadership inside of Europe that's saying we may just not have the stomach for this. We may want to tap out. We thought it might be an easy way to sort of support, autonomy in Ukraine, send some money and weapons for a while, but this is now dragging out 6-7 months, and these European leaders don't have it in them.
Yeah,
anymore.
specifically, Olaf Scholz, and saying, what are you guys thinking? Like, really, have they lost their sense of reality here, that you think like Crimea is going back? Like, we'll go so far, maybe as the Donbass, maybe other parts of East, but the Crimea, come on, maybe you need to check that off your list. They actually put up a poll in this Der Tagesspiegel website, and this is in German, but basically it asks, should Chancellor Olaf Scholz push for more weapons to go into Ukraine? And the first answer is yeah. Yeah, auf jeden Fall. Yes, absolutely. 45% of Germans, according to this poll, say yes, they should send more weapons to Ukraine. And then if you look at the bottom there, 9, auf keinen Fall. No, absolutely not. I want to know who the 45% are, but this is actually, this has dropped. This number has dropped, Kim, so there's support waning here.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I think that when people realize this is a forever war, and it's obviously a forever war because Ukraine has not set any sort of, for them to just say, no, we're not going to stop until we get everything back, including Crimea. So it's becoming clearer to people this is never going to end. And I think in particular, Europeans, they realize that Russia's kind of got them in a vice grip when it comes to their natural gas pipelines. So right now they're fine. It's summer, but once winter hits, I think we're going to see waning support. And people saying, why hasn't Ukraine gone to the table and negotiated this out? Why are we just fighting to the very last Ukrainian until they maybe try to gain? It'd be one thing I could understand, and I'd maybe even agree with Ukraine if they were gaining land back from the Russians right now. And they were like, okay, we're getting it. We're making some ground, we're gaining some land. So now that we've gained all of this, let's go for the rest. But they're losing land. And then they're saying, we're not going to stop until we get it all back.
Yes.
Yeah, and the news about, overnight, and I'm not going to do it in the show, but we'll maybe do it later this week, which is about the energy crisis that's unfolding. It's getting desperate in Europe, preparing for really, really dark times for Western energy right now. So again, and people asking like, well, what are we supporting then? We saw the protests. We played them here last week in Germany. On why are we paying more? Why we're not allowed to keep the lights on or keep our heaters on? We're being told so that we can support this, and for what? And at the end of the day, so that we can support this proxy war where these weapons are being sold on the black market. I spoke to a pilot today who told me that the drug runs that come, the arms runs that are coming out of Ukraine, they need pilots. They're running arms out of there like crazy and selling them on the black market. So that's where your tax dollars are going. They're going right into Ukraine and right back out again on the black market. So I think Germans are probably sitting there wondering the same thing.
Well, I would really like to know who's getting those arms, by the way, who's going to be using those against us next.
Yes.
That's a
Yeah, we all
good
remember the
question.
80s, right? In Afghanistan. So
Yeah, the
again,
Mujahideen and
yeah,
yep.
Yeah.
they all come back to you.